Chapter 30, Him or Me. Colt went to Lavender in the water. As he took the rope from her, she swam to the other side of the pond. Colt pulled Atropos to him. Atropos was pulling back and rearing the whole way, making a muddy mess until he too was no longer able to touch the bottom of the pond and had no choice but to swim. Colt swam beside him, then jumped onto Atropos' back. Immediately, Atropos started to find footing, tossing his head to and fro. Colt had no trouble holding to the rope and his halter. "Come on, I know you can do more than this," Colt urged him with a kick to his sides. Immediately, Atropos flailed up and fell backward into the water, sending Colt flying. Atropos was trying to now swim back to shore toward me, but he was stopped as Colt found footing, pulling the rope back to him. "No, you don't." By now, I was beside Lavender, sitting on the bank in a short brown dress. "Don't hurt him." Colt looked over to me, sopping wet and with muddy hair, and laughed. "Who are you talking to, me or him?" Once Atropos was back at him, Colt took the rope and made a pair of reins. "All right, let's try this again." And they did again and again and again, until finally Colt was sitting on his back and he was just standing still. "Now you can go out." Colt clicked his cheek and slightly gave a softer kick, allowing Atropos to leave the water to solid ground. Both of them were huffing and puffing, covered from head to hoof and toe in mud. Lavender kept me seated when I tried to stand. "Just wait," she said. Colt let out a loud cry like I had never heard before, and again Atropos began to jump and turn until he was back in the water. But as soon as he would calm down, he was allowed to leave the water. By midday, Atropos was foaming at his mouth. "Okay, enough for today, you stubborn mule." He tried to wash off what he could of the mud in the water after letting the horse walk off, still haltered up. He cracked his neck a few times, rolling his shoulders as he came over to us. "So what do you think of him?" Lavender giggled to Colt. "He's going to take a while to train for her to be able to ride him safely, but I see some good qualities in him." I finally stood up. "Your turn," he smirked. "What?" "Today's not nearly over." He whistled and Diligence came to him. Colt led him into the water. "All right, get on." "But," I said, "get in here. You're not afraid of getting dirty, are you?" "No." "Then get in here." I slowly walked in until my feet were on their toes. Then I panicked and started to flail, sucking in the muddy water. I could hear Lavender say, "Help her." Diligence was now moving about, and I couldn't see anything, until I felt hands on my sides pulling me up as I began to cough. "You silly filly. Why didn't you tell me you couldn't swim?" "We don't do this back where I'm from, so I thought I maybe could. It didn't look hard." Colt laughed as I continued to cough and cling to his sleeves like a half-drowned cat. "All right, don't hold on so tight. I won't let you go." He did a strange whistle and Diligence left the water. The water moved to and fro, making us move with it. I still held to his leather sleeves. "You scared?" he questioned with less smirk. "When you're scared, just be scarier than whatever's scaring you." "I don't think that applies to drowning," I said, my lip trembling uncontrollably. He smiled. "Perhaps you are right, but then again, I've seen you angry. You might just scare the drowning right out of the pond itself," he winked. "In any case, I won't let you drown." For the rest of the day, Colt and Lavender were teaching me to float and attempt to move forward, but I tended to sink like a rock if I wasn't holding my breath. "You're more tiring than your horse." Colt smirked as we got to the bank again with Lavender. He laid back on the muddy grass. "We have to have you swimming and riding Diligence," Atropos gentled before the winter sets in more than it already has. "You best dance your best dance tonight, Vita." "I told you I can't dance. I'll bring on a blizzard. It's just tradition. I don't hold to superstitions, but it sure can't hurt at this point." Lavender looked at me. "Dance for me, Vita. Since I can't, you can be my legs." "I'll try." So that night we headed back. The dancing and eating had already started. Abel had brought back a large elk with Galder, though Abel didn't look proud of his hunt's kill. He waved to me to come over and dance, but I settled Lavender in her hut before coming out with dry clothes on. Colt came over to Lavender's hut, still muddy and wet, as Galder entered with a large plate of food for her that had been prepared. "Well, come on," he held out his hand. "I can't. I really can't." "Silly filly, you can't drown on dry land. I won't let you," he smirked. We had just gotten to the fire, and he was showing me the moves of the dance when 3 fillies came up to him. I knew them from before. "Hey, Colt, come dance with us." Vita, why don't you go to bed? You look tired. Sounds like a good idea to me, I replied.